Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Got a guest on the show, young professional boxer by the name of Joeshon James, 23 years old, fighting out of Sacramento, California, 5-0 with 3KO's, fighting out of the middleweight division. Joeshon, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be the first guest, and an honor, really, to be, the first guest on your we call it a podcast. We call this podcast, or
Yeah, I guess we can, right? That's what everybody's doing nowadays, right? I want to get into doing more of the interviewing too, so I guess at that point it would take on somewhat of more of a podcast feel. So yeah,
you do a lot of analysis on like just the big scene fights and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's good. The local kind of small guys with no name yet,
absolutely,
so.
yeah, and that's part of what I want to do. Like, it's not just about the big name guys who got the main events and the headline shows. Like, everybody starts from somewhere, and I want to do that. Like, reaching out to smaller guys, reaching out to guys maybe who are still amateur, looking at possible Olympic trials. Guys like yourself, 5-0 and stuff like that. Like, it's all about the fighters, man, and that's just great stuff. Like, no, ESPN isn't running around sticking a microphone in your face right now. One day they may be, you know what I mean? But it's like, I want to reach out to guys like that too,
Oh yeah, for real.
So start out easy, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like where'd you grow up and how'd you get into the sport?
Joeshon James, decorated amateur, ranked number 2 back in 2017. Did all the golden gloves and silver gloves and junior Olympics and what else I do? Qualifiers for the trials and stuff.
Nice.
So I'm decorated. Only 60 amateur fights in that time frame. Started when I was 8 years old. Started fighting my brother in the upstairs room. Dad, he had some gloves. Just happened to have some gloves. I don't know where they came from, but we duked it out in the kitchen, and then I guess my dad saw something in that. He saw something there that could lead to something else. So we started just boxing out in the parking lot, just starting off simple, and then we went to the gym like a year and a half later, and from there it just kind of took off from there. I'm not gonna lie, I hated boxing when I first started.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell a lot of people that because I really didn't have a childhood. Like, I didn't go to dances. I wasn't playing outside, like the other kids. I had a group of friends outside. Like, hey, they would always throw stuff at my window.
For sure.
Yeah, got to go to the gym in a little bit,
Yeah.
But I got beat up my first sparring, crying, snotty, getting embarrassed, but something just made me fight harder. A lot of people would have got discouraged and quit that day, but something in me just made me want to train harder and come back and whoop them. And a month later, I made him quit. So
Nice.
So I got a good upbringing. And then when I was in the gym, I was with Gary Solinger out in Concord, California, for about almost 9 years. With him, I didn't really get in tournaments. That was just local shows with him, and just a real good with him, just my fundamentals. And then once we left Gary Solinger, we kind of went to the Bay Area, San Francisco area, and went with Tyrone Poblete, around Kareem Mayfield, the Bay Area scene. Who else? Jonathan Chicas, who was a pro at the time. I was sparring him. Okay. Yes. So really, my dad, he had me everywhere. Like we weren't even once we left Gary Solinger, that was our main gym. But after that, we were just every day we're at like a different gym. Even what's his name? From Stockton. I don't know why his name isn't coming to me right now, but he had a backyard gym. A lot of dogs back there. It was just a cover and a ring and a few bags. Oh my man, it was just
Dude, you can get good work in anywhere, man. It's like I one of the things I think about is here in America, obviously we've got some top notch world class gyms, but as far as boxing is concerned, man, look at Cuba. Like, dude, they've been working with just bare bones resources, turning out champions for a long time. Like you can get the knowledge passed to you. Just you don't need a whole bunch of stuff or a whole bunch of money. It's kind of one of the things that makes it great. So you were born born and raised down in Southern California, right?
Northern California, Fairfield.
Okay.
Um,
So
so like 30 minutes from Sacramento.
okay, nice. So you got the thing that's nice out there, man, is there is a lot of good boxing gyms out there. I imagine you can go around, you can get some good sparring in, you can get some good work, see a lot of different looks.
Probably within like every 10 miles, you're gonna hit a gym on Sac, or probably then going towards the Bay too. You're gonna hit a lot of boxing gyms, so
Yeah.
you can get a lot of work. But really, for me, it's hard for me to get work because my skill level, and then like there's really nobody left for me to really spar out here. I would say.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. You gotta you gotta be able to get that good work. You know,
You know, I don't like to kill my sparring partners. You know, I like to have a respect. And I draw the line where I don't want to knock them out or anything. You know, I see nowadays on videos that they're knocking out their sparring partners and they're posting videos. I'm like, where's the class and where's the honor of, having a good sparring partner? You just kind of down.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm of the mindset that, when you're sparring, you're supposed to be learning, right? Nobody ever won a world title during a sparring session, right? So it's like if you go in there, I mean, think about guys that got these, crazy heavy shots and stuff. It's like if you go in there and just start beating up your sparring partners, I mean, you're gonna run out of competition. You're the best guys out there, they're not gonna want to work with you. I mean, nobody's gonna want to get cut. Nobody's gonna want to get knocked out or anything like that. So, I mean, you're absolutely correct because there's a lot of guys with egos in the gym, man. So they want to go out there and they don't want to work on what they're bad at. They only want to work on what they're good at and look good. They want to hit guys hard and stuff, and that's not the best way to practice. And really, that's what sparring is at the end of the day, right? It's practice.
Right,
so
exactly.
I think that mindset that you have, like that is by far the way to go, man. Like that's what's going to take you far.
Right. But sometimes there's some occasions like, dang, I should have did this and I should have really went harder on him because he hit me with a low blow and he got dirty. But I'm always calm in the ring. That's the thing about me. If you ever see me sparring, you ever see me fight, I'm real calm and collect. I can get hit low blow. I can get hit in the back of the head. I'm gonna smile at you and come back and hit you with a combination. I'm gonna get you back.
I'll be honest. I noticed that. I noticed one of the things I thought about your fights. I looked at them. So I watched. I saw 4 of your 5 fights. I wasn't able to catch that second one. I couldn't catch any video on it. But you seemed composed right from day one, man. Right from day one, you came in there. You seemed composed. Had a good ring generalship in there.
You saw my pro debut?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I caught it. Yep.
Yeah, man. I trained, man. It's crazy. We're coming up on 1 year of being pro. That was February last. Is it February now? Huh? Oh, dang.
Yep, we are in February now, sir.
It's 1 year anniversary of being a pro. It's crazy because I was supposed to turn pro right before the pandemic hit. Then the pandemic hit, and I was like, dang. Because I was at Midtown Fitness, downtown Sacramento. Nice gym, nice equipment. But we were sharing it. There was 3 other groups in there that had, their fighters. So fighting over the ring, fighting over bags, space,
Yeah.
So once the pandemic hit, they closed down. So we had an option. Me and my other 2 coaches, we had an option of wait for the gyms to open back up, or let's go do our own thing. And then we did our own thing. And our my coach, he's a contractor, so he cleaned out his garage basically of all his supplies.
Nice.
He had a smoker, and then all his wood and lumber. We cleaned it out slowly. Literally, we just had one spot, the jump rope, and then slowly over time, put bags in there, then got a ring, and I was just like you wouldn't even know. Like, you have to have seen the vision.
Absolutely, man. You can do some good work. You can do some good work inside of those garage gyms, man. You build it out. You can get the exact equipment that you need. Exactly. A lot of times you're gonna have to go somewhere else for sparring, right? Because it's not gonna be big enough to have a ring in there. But as far as like your day-to-day work, like you can do great stuff in there.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't see the vision, so they went back to Midtown and where it was air conditioned. They had.
Yeah, I don't know about those air conditioned gyms, man. It always feels it always felt a little bit crazy.
Hey, but about my gym, when it get hot, So
yeah.
play easy. So it ain't no excuses why you shouldn't make weight at my gym, because you're gonna be sweating when you're in there.
So I was actually going to ask you about that, man, because you're big for the division. Now
Oh
you're
yeah.
now you're young right now, 23 years old, right? But I mean, 6'1", dude, and you got some broad shoulders on you too. So I was going to ask
Yeah.
you, like, one, how difficult is it to make weight, and two, how long do you think you're going to be able to stay at 160?
Man, I'm gonna be at 160 for a long time, man. I wanna dominate that division. I wanna just stay at like one weight and just dominate and then move up. Like until I really can't make 160, like I make 160 easy.
Okay.
Especially the prep company that I'm working with. She made it so easy for me to make weight.
Okay, nice. So you're working with a meal prep company.
Yeah, this last fight, I was working 9 weeks on meal prep. I did mess up a few times in there.
It happens. Hey, but as long as you make weight, you're good to go, right? Like that's what really counts at the end of the day. So,
But yeah, no, I'm big. I walk around like 175, 175.
okay, so then what is it? Like maybe you go for like a 10-week camp or something, 9-week camp, you slowly cut down, and then how much do you cut like the night before the weigh-in?
I'm always in the gym year round. But once we really get that date, then we go time, which is 10 weeks out. So, but the night before the fight, I'm on weight.
Okay, so you don't have to like sweat it out with the suit on and on the bike or nothing like that. Like you come in good to go.
Yeah, I want to be 4 pounds 5 days out.
Nice. Nice.
So I don't know. I'm always. That's the one thing about me. That's the serious part about boxing, because you can lose a little bit of your purse if you don't make weight. That's the most important part.
Absolutely. I mean, not only that, as you get into bigger fights, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, like you cut too much weight, it's going to affect your cardio, man. It's going to affect your punch resistance, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's horrible for you to just constantly yo-yo your weight up and down when you think about long term.
But yeah, that was my last 4-rounder fight. It was only because 2 people pulled out. It would have been a 6-rounder, but 2 people pulled out before Brian Martinez accepted the fight. So, even then, I'm getting people pulling out on the fights. They looking at me. Looking at my last fights.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Getting a little tough, but I just gotta stay humble and just keep taking every fight that I can get, because it's a blessing to be able to work with a promoter here in Sacramento. We were going to Mexico, but that was only because of because of the pandemic.
Right. I saw your first. I saw your first 3 fights were down there. And the pandemic, man, that messed everything up. But I mean, the thing that I thought was good, that I wanted to compliment you on, is young fighters got to stay active, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you have to stay working, right, for a wide variety of reasons. So when I looked, I saw you turn pro just a year ago. You had the 5 fights, and right away, the first thing I thought was like, this guy's dedicated. This guy's trying to master his craft. He wants to stay busy. He wants to stay working. He's not fighting, twice a year like he's already, Floyd Mayweather at the end of his career or something, right? Like, you got to get after it.
Yeah, for real, I really got to get after it, man. You can't, because I know a few people I know that they were working with the promoter trying to pick fights. Like, man, you want to know, you did your pro debut. Why are you trying to pick your fight, man?
Yeah.
He give you, because these guys got 150 plus amateur fights. Like, bro, take that fight. I know you can beat these guys, but they want some knockout, like good, I wanted to get the knockout on my last 2 fights, but they were tough. I think in my opponent, they were tough guys. I mean, Christian Duran, my 4th fight, I actually sparred him 2 years prior. And, he thought he could get me. That's why he took the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit in sparring. I was a little out of shape. I came in out of shape that sparring. So he had some confidence. I was like, okay, I know why he took the fight.
So fight night's a different story. That's not in the gym, man. Fight night's a different story, for sure.
And that's where, like, me and my coach, we really get, like, we prepare ourselves, I don't train to people's styles. I train to make sure I'm 100% prepared for whatever comes at me. So
okay, that's what I was gonna ask you about. Like, do you watch any film on guys? Do you prepare specifically for what they're doing? But you're just like, hey man, I'm gonna show up in the best possible way that I can be, and you just need to be able to deal with that.
Exactly. Yeah,
Nice.
that's my coach. My coaches, they look at my opponents, but I don't do it. That's their job. I'm a fighter. I just like to fight. I don't like to think about my opponents did this in that video. Because it could be a whole different person.
For sure. Yeah,
just like
when you show up and with what you bring, totally could look differently.
that. So I just know my conditioning is always gonna be better than the person that I'm fighting. So
So I heard in that last interview that I watched that you had done, you had mentioned you were working with a strength and conditioning coach.
uh no,
No?
not yet.
Okay. So you're just handling it solo?
Yeah, my coach, we on the regiment. We
Okay.
but no, I don't really do weights or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I started doing weights, but really we do like a lot of track works out, a lot of resistant bands, a lot of body weights, push ups, pull ups, and sit ups.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy.
Sure. Yeah. No. I
Do
mean, yeah. You got to be careful with the weights. Anyways, it's easy to bulk up with them a little bit and kind of get out of your weight class. Like you don't want to get out of. It'd be easy to get up to 168, man. If with hitting the weights. So that's always something to be careful
yeah, like
about.
the weight. I've only hit the bag. But I want to start. Actually, someone just hit me up a few weeks ago. The Jab Lab. He was a strength and conditioning coach. And he actually reached out to me. So it's like every fight that I do, I got more people reaching out to me that want to work with me. And just building my name up and just just be trying to make a name for myself with every fight that I do and
Absolutely,
just
man.
fan base basically. Like with you, like you found me.
I did. So just for the record, I found you through Instagram. I know that's how I reached out to you and stuff, but that's where I found you.
So yeah, I just got to keep posting and just keep building my fan base. I know 10-0. I should be able to do some things at 10-0. I just hope to keep winning and keep building my career. Really, that's my goal for this year. Is keep fighting like every 2.5 months. Really, I don't want to be fighting no more than 3 months layoff. I want to be like I saw my coach. We need to get one before May because I'm fighting in May. But that's
So do you already got a fight booked?
the show is happening, but I don't know who I'm fighting yet.
Okay.
But there's talk.
Okay, so like the promoter's already got the show and everything. He's kind of got you penciled in for a slot on it. Just need to find the right opponent for you.
Exactly.
Nice. So and you said that's going to be in May.
May, yeah.
So
May 13th.
Probably be in California. I'm imagining, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. At least all those COVID restrictions will be long gone by then, man. Right? I think it's like end of the month. We'll have they're opening stuff back up, so you'll be able to have like probably a higher capacity crowd and different things like that.
Where are you located at?
I'm in Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Snowing out there or what? Or...
Today it is, as a matter of fact, man. we haven't had it for a little bit, but as we speak, it's coming down.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, man. Being in the snow, city that snows, man.
Yeah, it's something else. It's something else, dude.
Workouts hard, like getting to the track and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is for sure. It's like you got to do stuff. You got to do stuff inside. Try to get to places where you can.
Right.
Possibly incorporate other things like maybe swimming or something like that into your routine. I mean, swimming. Right. I think swimming's great, anyways. Just because it's really, it's a lot less wear and tear on your joints.
Right. Exactly.
And you can still get in a great cardiovascular workout. It also works a lot of different muscles in the body versus that running doesn't and things. So it's one of those great things I think to switch up. And if you're kind of forced into the situation because you're out here and all of a sudden it's a blizzard outside, then before you know it kind of just works out great.
So how'd you get into boxing analyst and like?
Oh, you asking me the questions now, man. Okay, all right. So yeah, so my story. In some ways similar to yours, right? Like I just came up into it as a kid. I got introduced to it and everything. Mm-hmm. But I didn't take it serious. It was just something I was kind of introduced to. I always liked it, but it was like super hit or miss. I was in the gym. I wasn't, here I'm there for a day. I'm not, just kind of throughout my whole childhood and stuff. Then I was maybe always a huge fan of the sport though. So I'm always paying attention to all the fights and all kinds of things like that, being around it, but I'm not like taking it seriously myself. A lot of friends who are in it and things, but then I'm around, I want to say 25, 26 years old. And I started training at professional gym out here with Sam Colonna. He used to have Windy City Boxing. When I started fighting with him, it was Chicago Boxing Club. So I started going there. And again, I wasn't taking it serious in the sense that like I fought as an amateur or I fought as a professional, but I was taking it serious and I was going, 4 or 5 days a week. I was in there training with the professionals during the day. I was getting in real good sparring work and stuff. That was where, like, I don't know how far back you as a fan of the sport go, but like that's where Andrew Galata used to train. He trained under Sam Colon. He was a heavyweight champ of the world. He fought Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, that kind of time period. Andrew Fonfara, he was a light heavyweight champion at the time. He used to train there and stuff. So Montel Griffin, he beat Roy Jones Jr. back in, I don't know, 97, 98. So, you know, there were some guys, you know, there were some guys there. It was a really good gym, and that's kind of where my knowledge and my love for it just expanded even more. You know, just being around all of those guys and being in the gym and all kinds of stuff. And even though I'm no longer training in there, haven't for, I don't know, 9-10 years at this point, you know, I'm still around some guys. I still talk to people, still got the love for it. So at one point I just decided, like, you know, I need to just get it out there, man. Like, I love doing it anyways. I watch all the fights. I do all the analysis in my head. Like, I'm just going to start getting out there and making the videos, man. And maybe people will appreciate it. Maybe people will like it, and they seem to, which so it worked out great, you know.
Yeah.
that and then that built the platform for me of, like I mentioned before, you know, off camera with you, of being able to reach out to guys and start to build those relationships. And it's like, I've been in there with the fighters who nobody knows them, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's, so I get it, but they're in there grinding every day, dude, working hard, making stuff happen. And sometimes they get it. And boxing's such a political sport, and it's like sometimes promoters tap you on the head and you get shined on, and sometimes they don't. And it's like sometimes it has nothing to do with your skill level, man. There is dudes who are super talented who just, they've got a hard road to take versus an easy road, right? I think the most famous example I can think of is Marvin Hagler. Like, dude was a beast, man, and he's turned pro and he's fighting for $50. Right. You know, and it's like, no, you know, and ended up making it to the top, obviously, but I mean, he was super talented and nobody was paying attention at first, right? And that's a lot of guys' stories, you know. So all of a sudden I see, you know, then I see you 5-0, 3 knockouts, look at a couple of your fights. I'm like, look at this guy, man. This guy's talented. Let me reach out and see what happens. And, you know, then here we are.
Yeah, man. I think that you didn't have someone to push you, to have you in the gym and push you. They behind you.
Definitely. You know, if there'd have been somebody back there, like, I don't care what you think you're doing today. Today you're going to the gym. You know? Yeah, you never know. You never know, right?
You had an option. I didn't have an option. It was going to gym or being in trouble.
I'm telling, and that's that, you know, and that's the story that I hear from a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys who get to the position where they take it all the way, they make it, they're professionals. They say, you know, I started when I was 10, 11, 12 years old or whatever it was, but it wasn't like it was debatable. They weren't doing all of these other things, and the gym was just, you know, boxing was just kind of this thing on the side, right? It was boom, there all the time, no matter what. Like you said, missing dances, you know, not going out and kicking it after school or and things, and it's just like being there all the time.
Straight to the gym, man.
It's the type of sport that requires that dedication, you know.
Yeah, because it's a dangerous sport, you know. One foot in, one foot out, you're gonna get hurt, man.
Yeah, for sure. You can't just be doing it part-time, just one of the guys, because eventually, probably, no matter how talented you may think you are, eventually you're going to run into somebody that takes it super serious, and he's going to take your head off, man, you know.
I've heard that a lot of times, and I've seen it too at tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
The top guys get taken out by somebody who just was hungry. Mm-hmm. You can just, man, the hungriness beats that talent.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So if you got
yeah, you got both. That's when you can make something special happen.
Yeah.
Right? Staying focused and staying dedicated.
Yeah.
So one of the things I noticed about you, man, when I was watching your fights, you got a good jab.
Yeah.
I noticed you're aggressive. You like to stay on that front foot, come in and you work behind that jab.
Jab. I'm preaching that to my teammates right now. I'm like, man, I'm an example in my gym. Like, bro, just look at my jab. Look at how I use my jab. I can just throw a jab just the whole round only and beat a guy in sparring. And a top guy too. I'm sparring guys that didn't beat world champs, and my sparring partners is real sparring partners. Nobody, like, I got so much respect for my sparring partners. You know, you just post a picture, you say great work. I don't ever post videos, you know, me sparring my sparring. That's disrespectful, but
right. Yeah, what happens in the gym stays in the gym, right, man?
Yeah.
It's like you said before, like sometimes you show up on the gym, it ain't your best day. You didn't have enough sleep the night before, maybe it's like whatever, you know, things are going on, so you don't show up great. It's like you don't need somebody turning around posting that trying to put you out there for that, man. It's like what really counts is fight night. You know, it's like you think Michael Jordan had a great day at practice every single day? Come on.
Right.
Come on.
But yeah. What were we talking about?
Talking about you working off that jab.
Oh yeah, the jab, man. I preach about the jab, man, because it sets up everything. It keeps the guy thinking, keeps him, thinking about what you gonna throw. I can freeze up a guy with the jab, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, you've got good height and reach for the division. So when you get that jab out there, and if you frame a guy up nice and you square him and you keep him in the center with that jab, you can, you can make a lot of guys start to shut their offense down with it.
And a lot of guys try to take away my jabs, like the last two fights. My fourth fight with Christian Duran, I didn't make the adjustment. I should have made that adjustment of creating that space because he kept coming in and holding me. He held me the whole fight, but it was the home crowd that I was a little serious. I was too serious that fight. The home crowd, I was a little nervous, and I didn't have my ear to the corner. But my fifth fight, I was relaxed, had my ear to the corner. But that guy, he was still holding me. I still should have made that adjustment, create that space. But when I did, I was working the jab good. But I still got a lot to work on. But the jab is definitely my key punch.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It just sets up everything, and I can throw it 1,000 times without getting tired.
For sure, man. For sure. Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement, right? Saying I say it's the biggest room in the house.
Always learning.
I noticed you improving though. Just in the last year between fight 1 and fight 5.
It's crazy.
I've noticed you getting better and
all it is
in a few different ways.
And all it is really consistency. That's what I'm preaching. You can come into the gym, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and miss a whole bunch of gaps, but staying consistent Monday through Friday, staying consistent, doing the same routine, you're going to improve. Like just me, 2 months ago, me hitting the mitts, I'll rewatch a video. I'm like, jeez, what the heck was I doing in that video? I suck. Just man, this is consistency. That's all I preach at my gym. Like man, stay consistent.
So important. It's so important. You never see people, reach that greatness by being inconsistent.
Right. Exactly.
So with that being said, let me ask you. If you were to break down your game right now, right, what is it that you think you need to do the most work on?
The most work on? I'm gonna say now. What I've been telling my coach, what I want to do this fight is my next fight is really sit down on my punches. I throw too many punches. What we do in sparring, we got a punch count that I gotta make, which is 75 to 80 punches. That's my goal that I want to throw within my 8 rounds. That's I want to stay 80 punches pretty much. But what I want to do is, because I'm conditioned, I'm in top shape, right? I'm throwing a lot of punches on these guys. These guys are only throwing
80 punches a round is a lot of rounds. It's a lot of punches at middleweight for sure.
My sparring partners are probably throwing 35 to 40.
Right.
So what I want to do is take that conditioning and change it into more power punching. Maybe slow it down to 35, 40 punches like how my sparring partners do. Maybe that's what I want to see. I want to see what I can do if I just use that energy to more power punches. I feel like I can get a lot more power punches out of my sparring. Because sometimes, I'll be on my way home. Man, I could have threw a lot more power punches. How could I have thrown more power punches, But it's me just working the jab, working combinations, being fast, moving, back on the jab. That's where I'm getting my punch count from, just staying active. But so that's what I want to do this camp is really sit down more on my punches and really get a spectacular knockout,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no. yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a good shot in that first one, man.
On most of my last 2 fights, though, you saw the last one in the first round where he just dropped down. Oh man, that was almost like the first one, but he held on.
Right.
He had some good legs.
Right. So let me ask you this. Now you talk about dropping down your punch count, so that you can focus more on power shots. Maybe line them up a little bit better, pick and choose. Focus on accuracy and stuff.
Exactly.
Do you think you were focusing more on having that higher punch count because of your amateur background? Like that's a lot of things that, guys in the amateurs, man, they love going out there and throwing way more punches than you see in the professional. So is that kind of the transition that you're making
Yeah,
there?
that's what I think. It's more of coming from the amateurs and throwing a lot of punches, and still because my 4 rounds, right? It's only really 3 rounds like the amateurs. I still gotta impress the judges
Mm-hmm.
to win the rounds. 4 rounds is quick. It goes
Yeah.
quick. So I'm still like, okay, I still gotta impress the judges. I really still, can't focus on knockout. I gotta focus on impressing the judges. That's kind of what my mind is when I'm going into these 4 rounders. I'm like, okay, gotta throw a lot of punches and so now that my next one gonna be a 6 rounder, that's what I really want to work on is breaking them down the first 3 rounds. And the body and up top. Body shots too. We worked on a lot of body shots last camp. I went in there to the fight and I barely threw any.
Mm-hmm. I saw you throw a few left hooks to the body, not necessarily in your last fight, but I've seen you go to the body with a left hook before.
Yeah.
It looks good, for sure.
But not like how we worked on. That's like all we worked on was body. I'm like, man, I ain't throw no damn body punches, man. That's all we worked on camp was breaking down to the body and then up top. So I'm back to the body this camp and sit down on my punches. So I want to get back to getting these knockouts in because when people say how many fights you got, they want to know your knockout records.
They do.
They don't want to guy 10-0 with one knockout.
Yeah, no. Then all of a sudden it's funny, man. Then you see like remember in the build up with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and Wilder he's like, man, you can't bust the egg over there, old pillow fist Fury and stuff. It's like that, if you don't. Now he turned that around. Obviously, he started sitting down on his shots, but that's the kind of, you're right. That's the kind of talk that you hear from guys if you don't got a respectable knockout ratio.
Exactly. Just want to build that up, build my knockout record back up again. But I can't be looking for it. If it comes, it comes. But I'm always winning the crowd, even with a good performance. My performances are spectacular by themselves, but a knockout always puts a cherry on top.
For sure, you got a good applause out there at those last 2 fights. They were at the DoubleTree.
Yeah,
looked way better obviously than the fights in Mexico. Just like a nicer venue, nicer atmosphere and stuff. And when they announced it, man, you got a good buzz. So
yeah. Each fight I gain like 100 more followers on Instagram each fight. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. So tell me, when you came into the game very early, 8 years old, so you kind of immersed in it and stuff.
Early.
What was your who was your favorite fighter coming up?
My favorite fighter was Joe Louis, man.
Oh, so you took it all the way back. It wasn't a current guy that you were watching. Okay.
But you know what? I'm about to drop I'm about to drop a gem on you right now. My great grandfather, Jack Johnson.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Man, that's quite the name, sir.
Yeah. On my mom's side, her grandma was Thelma Johnson, which was Jack Johnson's daughter. They grew up in South San Francisco. We got a picture, like a real old picture of Thelma Johnson. She's when she was a little kid next to a German Shepherd, a little baby German Shepherd. If you know about dogs back then, those were valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Those were hard, especially a German Shepherd. And but a lot of people say that Jack Johnson didn't have kids because you know why? Because they would have used him to throw fights. There were always talks of Jack Johnson throwing fights in the clans.
Mm-hmm.
The Jim Crow laws and all that stuff. So he
was receiving like fines, driving through areas or getting locked up and different. I'm not like, I don't know the super details of the story, but
yeah, but he had to hide his kids because they would make him throw fights. The clans would have to make him throw fights. There was that one fight, I forgot who he was fighting, where he laid down. He wasn't knocked out, but you tell he laid down because there was something going on. But he wasn't knocked out, but he had to act like he was knocked out. Mm. But yeah, I'm descendant to Jack. I wish it was more like proof where I can just say like, okay, here's everything,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like to even bring up that.
That's quite the lineage.
If you look at Nico Ali, they build him up major.
Oh yeah, I mean
off his
mm-hmm.
And you really don't even got the skills.
Mm-hmm. I haven't watched him enough yet to see. to
He
see.
only got 4 fights.
Right.
So,
And I haven't really tuned in and like sat down and looked at him or anything. But I mean, yeah, that's a perfect example, like I was mentioning before, of, you know, he's got the last name that people are putting a camera in his face immediately from absolutely from day one. And there's guys who are more skilled than him who nobody's ever heard of. Right. Just because they don't have that buzz.
yeah, nowadays it's more like if you got Instagram followers, you know, you might get a fight just because you're because you know promoters like to see that following that you have, you know.
Right.
Oh, I'm slowly trying to build my Instagram to you know get that following, but I'm more of a fighter than an Instagram fighter, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm
Yeah.
taking
It's
over.
yeah, it's one of those things that's it's tough, man, because it's one of those things that's I don't want to call it dirty about boxing, but it isn't cool either. You know, it's like a perfect comparison is the UFC, right? We've been able to watch the UFC in real time kind of build up, and because they're an organization, so they're able to they promote their fighters differently, they book their fights differently, all that kind of stuff. Whereas boxing, it's like everybody's a free agent, so every promoter's worried about making money on every single show and who can I get in here, and you know if this guy's got an Instagram following, then I won't have to market him as difficult. He'll sell some tickets for me, type thing, and stuff.
Exactly.
So yeah, boxing's crazy like that, man. I mean, at the very top levels, at the very highest levels of the sport, boxers make more than MMA fighters by far. You know what I mean? And that's one of the good things about it, right? But yeah, there's some not so good things about it too, particularly when you're coming up.
Right, because this guy with more followers but less skill set can get on the show and get paid X amount of dollars than me fighting on a show in Sacramento. You know,
Yeah.
so you know it kind of sucks that part, but you know everybody got to climb the ladder. You know.
Yeah, it's a grind, right? Everybody's got to get there one way, shape, or form.
I'm looking forward to. That's what I look forward to is being able to look back like, damn, we did 10 fights, we did 10 local fights, and we took out everybody, you know, everybody that the promoter can throw at us, you know, and now you know we're on Top Rank or something like that, you know. So I'm just enjoying the journey, you know, enjoying the struggle. So it's a beautiful struggle.
Got to,
So
got to enjoy the journey, right? It's like,
you know, just like me and my coaches from just the pandemic opened up the gym. It was just looking back like, dang, we really cleaned out this gym and really made it a gym. Like, just looking back, and that was a year and a half ago. Like, geez, it's just time is going by so fast. Sometimes you gotta just stop and look around, you know, or
right.
Time just passes you by. But
I hear you, man. It's impressive. It's impressive stuff. So, what do you think about the middleweight division right now? Like at the very top, you looking at guys, you studying it?
Really only got Triple G and Charlo brothers. Really,
I was going to ask what you thought about the Charlos. They're definitely going to be around longer because Triple G is getting old, man. But
right, yeah, they're power punchers. But you know, once I get around, I'll probably be getting him out of there. You know, so.
Yeah, one of them will still be around. I know one brother's. I think it's Jamal's at 160, Jermel's at 154. But who knows? They could both bump up, and then it's at 168 and 160 or something by the time you come up there.
That's really all I see is Triple G. You know, they got some prospects. Amo Williams, Nikita Abibi. Who else they got? Javier Martinez from these are all Olympic guys.
Young guys coming up.
Troy Isley. So, you know, I'll be facing those guys later down the road once.
Right. You know how divisions are. It's like sometimes they're super hot, and then sometimes they go cold for a little bit, and then it's the back and the forth. You know, I mean middleweight's a historic division. It's always been around, and I mean I've been a huge fan of it for a long time. I was watching it when Bernard Hopkins was making his 2020 title defenses out there, and then you know he lost to Jermaine Taylor, who ended up getting knocked out by Kelly Pavlik in a legendary fight and stuff. So I was also a huge fan of Sergio Martinez.
Oh man!
You know he came in, and you know he was an older guy to come in. He kind of came into boxing late from soccer or whatever, but he had this great style and this footwork and stuff, and so just the middleweight division, man, is legendary. You know, it's like you've been seeing guys for Carlos Monzon and Marvin Hagler that I mentioned earlier. So
yeah, But now you got the lightweight divisions, the 130, 135, and the heavyweights. I think right now those two weight classes is on fire right now.
Yeah, I'd say 135 for sure. With the young guys out there, you got Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, George Kambosos. Lomachenko is like the old man in the division now, right?
And he needed man retire. He's done, man.
You think he's done?
I mean, he's a good fighter, but not how they brought him up to be. Like when he was going in to fight, what's his name, Lopez. When they went in to fight Lopez, he's this and that, and then he went and got, nice. So, a lot of people won that fight. What you think? You think he won that fight?
No, I gave it to Lopez. I gave it to Lopez. Yeah. I don't remember exactly how I scored it, whether it was like 8 rounds to 4 or something. I'm not quite sure, but maybe even 7-5. Lomachenko started to win some of those last rounds, but if I remember correctly, I actually gave Lopez the 12th. Mm-hmm. And he had won most of those early ones, probably like the first 5 or something like that. First 6 maybe. But I was always a huge Lomachenko fan. I love his movement, his angles, and just what he gives guys.
His movements is, man.
I mean, that footwork's world class.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, but fights, I think they're just building them up to be something. Especially with the losses he got now. He got like 3 losses now. Mm-hmm. He only got like 11 fights.
Yeah. I don't even know what his record is at this point, right? So I remember he came out, and I think it was his second fight. He lost it to Orlando Salido, and that was a grimy fight, man. Like going into it, I had this feeling that like Lomachenko was a far more talented fighter, but I just didn't know how he was going to be able to handle it. It's 12 rounds. Salido had those fights with Juanma Lopez, and you could just tell, like, man, he was tough as nails. He wasn't going to quit. He likes to, he gets inside with his head, and, he's going to hit you on the hip on the other side from where the ref is with the low blows and everything. Like, he doesn't care, man, and he was doing all of it in there against Lomachenko. And I gained a lot of respect for Loma in that fight because he didn't complain at all, dude. He did not say one thing, and he was in there getting roughed up.
Jeez.
And then, he ended up coming out, and then after that, racking up all these wins and stuff. And but like you look at what he did against like Jorge Linares and different guys, like I mean, he's getting older. He turned pro obviously a lot later. He had I don't know, something like 400 amateur fights or something insane,
Crazy.
Yeah, but he'll always go down in my mind. He'll always be one of those guys that I look at. He'll be a fighter that I always loved watching. And if I was ever introducing fighters to teaching, I should say introducing people to fighting, he'd be one of the guys I'd show, and I'd be like, look at this footwork. This is crazy. It's kind of stuff like that.
Footwork is good. Nah, yeah. But.
So who do you like down there at 135 now? Who do you think is going to be the man?
Shakur Stevenson.
You think it's going to be Shakur?
His defense and offense, man, it's crazy.
Oh, I mean, he's slick, dude. He is super slick.
He knows how to keep that range where he's able to punch, and he's not able to get hit, and that's why I think he wins a lot of fights, man.
Yeah. He seems to be. One thing I like about him is he keeps it. He's still humble. You don't hear him out there talking like a lot of those guys that like, man, they're back and forth on social media. They're calling guys out all the time. He seems pretty humble, and I get it. He holds a belt at 130 right now, not 135. So, but he'll probably move up in the future. He's got a big frame too, but he seems like he's teachable. Like he wants to go into the gym and learn. Like the moments aren't too big for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Shakur. But when he goes against Gervonta Davis probably gets him but his power is too much. Davis' power and his his grittiness, his toughness is gonna be too much.
Yeah. He's
all top for Gervonta Davis.
Right.
Especially like against Barrios when he fought Barrios. Even when he fought Leo Santa Cruz was doing good all the way to the 6th round until he just got caught.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I had Leo winning those first 6 rounds until he got dropped.
I agree. He was doing good in that fight, and then eventually Tank figured him out. And as soon as he got that first knockdown with that right hook, it was.
Barrios. I had Barrios winning 9 of those 11 rounds, so he got, dropped a few times. So
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. I had Barrios winning a lot of those rounds. I actually used that, so I did the handicapping for when Barrios just fought Keith Thurman, and that was part of what I talked about in that fight. And I was like, it's easy to remember, Tank going out there and KOing Barrios, hitting him with that body shot and everything. But you got to go back and watch that fight. Like, that man knows how to fight. He was in there winning a lot of those rounds, dude. He's very fundamentally sound. Like, he's training with Virgil Hunter, who in my mind trained a guy that I loved as a fighter, dude, who didn't get enough respect. Andre Ward, dude, that man was so talented.
Yeah, hey, that's the funny thing too. Andre Ward, my Silver Gloves, he actually paid for my room and my flights to get there to my tournament.
Nice.
So I talked to him on the phone too right before my fight.
I was gonna say, you guys are from the same area, isn't he? From Oakland or something like that. So yeah, I mean, you guys are right out there.
Yeah, so that was actually, man, that was like a highlight of that year for him to call me before my fight.
I bet, man. I bet that's good stuff.
Yeah, but that's when I became a fan of Barrios when he did. So that performance was really good. Like, man, that guy's good. I never had heard of him really before that fight. He won me. Even Isaac Cruz. I didn't know much about him until he fought Gervonta. Now I'm a fan of him.
Yeah, I agree. That was his big his big come up. Until then, he was somebody that nobody had really heard of, and he came out there and he bit down on his mouthpiece, man, made it happen.
That was a better fight than if Gervonta Davis would have fought Ronaldo. So
I agree.
I think that was better.
I think I might have made a video about that, and I talked about it a little bit, but I thought Riley was going to get caught too, man. Like, I just figured, like, Gervonta with that left hand, the way he comes in, like, yeah, Riley, he tries to go in and land too many power shots, and like, dude, you're not going to be able to just get off your offense against a guy like Tank.
Yeah, especially that last guy he fought, Yigit, that Rolly's fought. He had a hard time trying to knock him out until he finally broke him down. But
right. Well, I mean, we're going to find out now, man. I think, that fight got pulled initially, but I think they're going to make it now. Like, I think like the legal issues or whatever that Riley was going through, I think like all of that's cleared up. I think he's good to go. And I could have swore I heard somewhere that they were starting to look at making that fight again. But, Tank hurt his hand in that last fight. So who knows? Yeah. I don't know what kind of like rehab he's on or if he needs surgery or anything like that for it. So who knows when that'll happen.
All right. Well, yeah, no, we got a lot of good fights coming up. We got Chris Colbert. I forgot he's fighting. Chris Colbert's one of my actually sparring partners on the undercard. That Chris Colbert undercard. So.
Oh, one of your sparring partners is on that undercard?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's next week, I think, right? About a week out or so.
Yeah, I'm probably go up there next week and sparring for his last sparring. I'm supposed to go out to him this week, but probably next week I'll go out and spar him.
So get ready, last little tune up for the fight.
Yeah, he got 4 fights. I'm not sure who he's fighting, but they haven't released the bout sheet yet, so I'm eager to see who he's fighting.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be good stuff, man. Chris Colbert, he's one of those guys. He's right on that cusp of like world title status. You know what I mean? I think he's like got an interim or something, and he was, so he's about to be there, man.
But how do you do against like Gervonta Davis or Lopez or?
You said, how do I think he'll do?
Yeah, like.
So I like his skills. I like his skills, man. Right? Like he's got fast hands. He's good. Yeah. I don't think he's got a lot of knockouts, but I've you look at his last fight. I think it was his last one. He got that stoppage or like 2 fights ago off of a counter right hand, right early in the fight. So he's starting to sit down on punches a little bit. Now he's lighter than them, right? He's at 130, and Garcia and all them and Tank and them are at 135. But I think he'll eventually probably be able to move up there. He's got a big enough frame to be able to handle it. Like he's not a small guy. To be honest, I mean, Gervonta is probably the smallest dude out of all of them, right? Yeah, when you see him, he's just got the power and the persona. It seems like to be able to go in there and just handle the bigger guys.
It seems like his upbringing in Baltimore really like played like a big role in him being like gritty and tough and
yeah, I'm sure it did, man. I remember hearing dude's story about being coming up in the foster care system, I believe, and stuff like. Dude, that's not for the faint of heart, man. I'm sure it was really tough.
Probably takes all that and just puts all every single punch that he throws.
Right. I mean, that's a perfect story about how boxing saved the guy, right? Like
Yeah,
gave him something to do, being in the gym. You hear his trainers talk about it and stuff, being in there since he's young. And
and that's where like when I started winning tournaments, I started like going places. Like I wouldn't have probably been half the places I've been if it wasn't for boxing. Like I wouldn't have been to Kansas, New Mexico, Charleston, West Virginia. I would never been seen all these different places. If it wasn't for me like boxing. Like, geez, I probably would never been out of California before. Like, it's
right.
crazy. Like, man, I'm like thankful for boxing. Because I've had a few layoffs where I hurt my back in one of my tournaments, and just when I come back, I just have a better appreciation for it each time. Like whenever I have a little layoff, like man, I can't never be out of the gym. Like it's weird not being in the gym. Like I gotta go to the gym every day.
I bet, man. I bet. You just get that routine. If it's like your second home. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a routine. That's what it is, really.
So
Like,
are you fighting full? Are you fighting full time at this point, or do you got a job outside the ring?
yeah, I'm a handyman. You need certain services and drywall and toilets and sinks and stuff installed or removed. I do
Nice.
stuff.
Okay,
So
so I bet you that, and that probably even allows you to work. You're not working like 9 to 5. It gives you kind of more of a flexible schedule, right? You can kind of build your, make it work around boxing.
and it seems like last year, this around after my first pro fight is when I quit my 9 to 5, and then my career just took off. Once
Nice.
I have to train. I don't recommend everybody to do it. I'm all right in a good position where I'm able to pay my bills and take care of my family. But it seems like I don't think I would have been 5 fights if I wouldn't have been able to put my job, just take that leap of faith. It
Yeah.
was a leap of faith, to okay, let me do my own services instead of working for hourly wage when I can go take this toilet off and make my 8 hours, you know,
Yep.
at some at a residential house. So I was like, man, let me just take this leap of faith, and here we are a year later, 5-0. So
Dude,
you know,
I'm
I
so,
got to look at the long run. I can make that's a steady income, but with me, if I get to 10-0, who knows? I can get a big check that could take care of a few months of bills. So just taking that leap of faith and just working hard, man. I just got to work hard and
for sure.
work that goal of being able to be financially stable with boxing.
Right. Yeah, I mean it can be scary, man, to just jump out there and just say, hey, but it's your dream, right? It's your passion. It's what you really want to do, and it's like you can't do it when you're 50. If you don't take that chance now, if you don't take this is a young man's game, and if you don't do it now and start to build yourself, like then you're not going to be able to later. It's like, what do you want to like? What do you want to regret it when you get older and stuff? And it's like, no, man, So, congratulations on having the courage to make that jump, and I'm super happy that it worked out for you, man, because then it gives you the
I rather
opportunity.
I rather have that regret of not working 9 to 5 than have that regret of, oh man, I could have been this pro. I could have been this 10-0 pro telling my kids that I was a boxer. Yeah, I used to box, and I want to be still boxing, and then if that don't work out, I'll go full time. I'll
Hey,
get
right?
a job.
Them jobs aren't going anywhere, man. They'll be there for anybody who wants to work them. Like you don't have to do it today. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, all those jobs will be there.
Exactly. And especially with the pandemic, you see a lot of people not even working. So, like,
Right.
a lot of millennials, my age, you do gig work, DoorDash, stuff like that.
Yeah,
There's different ways of, revenue. So,
for sure,
but
for sure.
definitely safe. And I was just like, man, I look back like, geez, my career took off. So, if I give it a little bit more time, man, I just I know we got to end up somewhere. If by the end of the year, if I get another 5 more fights, and I'm more sure I'm gonna win all of them, no matter who they put in front of me. Um, I gotta get some TV time. You can't deny me TV time, man. Come on, Top Rank, the Zone. If y'all tuning in right now,
Listen,
Joeshon James
do
is
you hear this,
right.
man? Listen to him, right?
Right. If y'all tuned in right now, future champ right here, man. 160. So
I love that confidence, sir.
yeah, man. I just Because look at my sparring partner. You know, he's on the Chris Cooper undercard. I don't know what networks he got. You know, boxing is about networking too.
Right.
You know, but I know I'm better than him. You know, not to be disrespectful or anything, but I know I'm
No, humbly speaking, right?
like, man, I just know what I can do, especially if I get that platform. I'm definitely giving it all I got. Against whoever they put me up against. Even if I'm on B side, I mean, even if I'm coming in as the lesser favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know how it is in boxing, man. Like,
Yeah,
but upsets happen all the time. Always,
yeah,
there's always somebody's momentum to be stolen. There's always that stories about that one opportunity and then getting that massive amount of shine and making it happen, dude, for
yeah.
sure. And
That's You get that upset, man, and now you're a contender, and now you're getting calls left and right to be back on the next show.
hmm
So
yeah, I mean,
that's
sometimes it happens early, sometimes it happens late. You know, you know who
you
I
got
you,
to
you know who I think about when I think about a guy who got kind of got an opportunity later on in his career, made the most of it, and then stuck around for at that top level for a little bit is Austin Trout.
Austin Trout, yeah,
Yes, so he was like he was just a
Austin
regular fighter, man, right? Like out there fighting professional guy out of New Mexico, and then all of a sudden, Miguel Cotto's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight dude. And as soon as Miguel Cotto decided to fight him and Trout got that win, that was it, man. All of a sudden, then he was just a top name guy for years to come, and he's fighting the biggest guys.
exactly.
And it's like
So
that's all it takes sometimes.
yeah, just opportunity, man. That's all I'm looking for is opportunity, man. But I just there's a lot more I got to work on, being more, more to my craft, and just each fight, I got to say, okay, I need to work on this. Take it into the next fight, make those adjustments. So I'll definitely be a different fighter this next fight. Like you can just see in the last two fights that I was a whole different
For
fighter.
sure, for sure. I've definitely seen you progressing through these fights, which is something that you want to see from a young guy when he's coming up. You want to see him show you. You want to be able to tell that he's in the gym working on stuff. That he's really trying to figure it all out. Because nobody comes out when they're 21, 22, 23. And even when you look at the great world champions, when you look back at what they used to look like when they were young, you see the progression.
Right.
So it's like you got to see that, and that's what that's what I'm seeing
Canelo,
from you, man. So I was glad to see it.
Canelo's the main example too. You look back, and he's just grown. Man, he's unbeatable right now.
Yeah, Canelo's grown by leaps and bounds, man. Even back when you look at his fight with Floyd Mayweather, like at that point, obviously he was already at the biggest stage getting a fight with Floyd, right? But you compare that fight and to what he does now, and it was such a learning opportunity for him, and he grew so much, and
Yeah.
just the things he's been able to do. Like, dude went out there and stopped Sergey Kovalev at 175 pounds, man. Like,
Hey,
I mean,
I'm like, man, man, that is crazy.
I, 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 I never
Supernatural.
thought he was going to take that rematch with Triple G, to be honest with you, because, Triple G was just such a ferocious puncher. So he took that first one, and I'm like, he made it out of there. I don't think he's going to get rich. Takes the rematch and just right
Right.
away, like, dude never backs down. He's like, oh, you got somebody who wants to run all around the ring like Arslan Lara? I'll fight him too. Like, he's out there fighting everybody looking good, man. Yeah.
But speaking of that Triple G fight, that first one, I think Triple G had got that one, man. It was close, but
If I remember correctly, I think I did too. I think I gave it to him like 115, 113, right? Like super close.
the more was more on his defense, and Triple G was more on the offense. So, but he was making him miss a lot. But if you go to who was more the aggressor, Triple G was in that.
I think so. If I remember correctly, I think I felt the same way about it, right? And then when he came out in that second fight, I think one of the adjustments that he made was he was on his front foot a little bit more, backing Triple G up, or at least at times, right? At least at times, so that he could kind of take the momentum from him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had it too. The second fight. But yeah, there's no reason for a third fight.
I agree, man. Now you hear about you hear about Canelo possibly moving back up to light heavyweight, fighting like Bivol and stuff like that. It's like Triple G, like I
We
mean,
love. We want to see him in the ring again, but not against Canelo. I mean, who could he? He should fight Charlo, one of the Charlo brothers.
dude, that would be that'd be one of those classic, like, young lion, old lion type fights for Charlo, right? Come in there and get that win. And, maybe you want to look more impressive than Canelo did. So then you use that as an argument to try to get that Canelo fight.
Right.
Because that's the biggest payday around that weight class for sure.
Man, bro, if I can, you can retire off of that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got a lot of guys hoping, raising their hands, hoping to get that one.
Right.
For sure.
Caleb Plant did good against Canelo. He boxed him. He was giving him a hard time.
He did. He looked good at times. Yeah, he was able to work that jab. He had some good. He's kind of slick. He's got that good shoulder roll, so he's able to get out of the way of those right hands at times. But it's going to be tough if you don't have good power to keep a guy like Canelo at bay. Because he's just going to walk you down, man, and just start landing those ferocious body shots.
Crazy. He perfected them body shots, man. There's no getting away from it. He gonna slow you down one way or another.
Yeah, because he's not even that big of a guy.
He's not.
But
so consistency, stay consistent.
For sure.
Follow it.
That's it. Well, all right, man. We've been at it for about an hour or so. I think I'm gonna end up having to wrap it up, but
it's been an hour already?
Yeah, we've been on this. So it's 2:00 now. Well, at least Central Time is 2. I know all about you. It's a little bit early.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it was a great talk, man. Things were just flowing well and everything.
Good talk, man. Learned a little bit about you. You learned a little bit about me. So
for sure. I'm going to stay tuned, man. I know you said you got that fight in May. I imagine once you find out who your opponent is, specific dates and stuff, I'll see it on your social media.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will stay in tune. I'll be reposting it too. Yeah, and I hope sometime in the future, maybe we can schedule something else, get you back on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, anytime, man. I appreciate it. It was an honor, man, to be first on the show.
It was an honor to have you. Thank you so much.
All right, Ryan.
All right, have a good one, man. Take care.
You too.